ready for some good dish?
It is our big baking show.
Tips for making the ultimate chocolate cheesecake.
You don't want to over-mix the batter.
Yeah. Go get it, girlfriend.
Oh, that's the move.
Yeah.
This is a master class in cheesecake.
And she's a TikTok sensation.
Grandma Babs.
And she's revealing her #1 baking secret. Plus, a genius hack for perfect pound cake.
Oh, wow. That's next. Let's dish. The kitchen has always been at the center of my world because life is more delicious when it's full of food and fun.
Everybody knows me as a culinary expert and food judge on television, but also I'm mom trying to get dinner on the table.
From Hollywood to home, I bring Southern sweet and Caribbean heat, and I'm not afraid to stir the pot.
Good food, good friends, good dish. Basket out here.
Park those buns, yes.
Enough for everyone. Welcome to The Good Dish. It is our big baking show, and what could be better than warm, sweet donuts, crusty yet pillowy bread, or beautiful, rich cakes? I am talking all the good baked goods. But first, we asked our viewers if you stress bake, and here's what you said.
When I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed, I bake. Baking is my go-to.
There's no therapy like rolling out some dough.
I've been baking since back in the Depression to keep me from being depressed.
Sometimes when I'm having a rough day, there's nothing greater than opening a cookbook, following the directions, and not having to worry about anything.
Baking a cake is a great relaxing distraction from all the chaos that's happening in my life.
Do I stress bake? You bet I do.
What about you guys? Do you stress bake?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I do.
You know, for me, I think he said it best. It's because as a chef, it's instinct. So you got to constantly be tasting and going in and figuring out what's in the pot. But with baking, you literally, someone tells you what to do. It is literally 1 cup of this to I can really check out and just zone right in, and then you mix and you can just go round and around and around. Like it just kind of, it's an
meditative.
escape. Yes, it takes you to another place, and someone else is telling you what to do, and you hope it comes out great, and then you eat it all. So that's how baking works.
Yeah, I agree. That's how it works.
All right, so now this right here is going to take you to a magical place because I am making chocolate cheesecake with a chocolate cookie crust. Y'all know how much I love cheesecake. So this
We've been waiting for this moment for a
this
long
is a happy
time.
place where I live, okay? So now, of course, for me, cheesecake is all about the crust. So this one here, you will take your chocolate sandwich cookies, you'll post them down, and then place them in your springform pan. You're gonna bake these for about 10 minutes at 325 degrees. And you know what you do. You pull up the sides, you got the little butter and everything going there. So that is your crust, and it is perfectly ready to go. And then now we get into the filling, okay? So I have an electric mixer. Of course, you can't have cheesecake without cream cheese, okay? So you'll kind of break this down a little bit. Just give it a little twirl, and it's the thing when you're making cream cheese, there's several things that are important here. Rule number 1, everything has to be at room temperature, okay? If it's not at room temperature, it's just not gonna work right. Softened cream cheese is where you want to begin, and then you'll go in with your sugar, give that a whirl together. How about you?
I'm gonna do it.
We can help.
There you go. Let's
Let us do it.
stress bake together. All right, so once the cream cheese and your sugar, I'm adding in sour cream.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a nice hit.
Yes, little
That's gonna
tangy.
loosen things up around here.
It definitely
too.
will.
Gonna heighten the speed a little bit.
And keep everything in the bowl. We've got some vanilla extract, cocoa powder, and here's one thing. Some people don't like to add flour or...
Here we go.
See, that's why I'm over here and
we're
she's
live
over
in the
there,
kitchen.
okay?
Nothing can go wrong.
No one said stress baking didn't get messy, okay? That's what happens sometimes. All right, so that's gonna start to come together. I'm adding in cornstarch. Now, I like to do cornstarch because it's pretty much a stabilizer. Then I have some melted chocolate. This is a mix of semi-sweet and dark chocolate. And then I am putting you to work, Gail.
I love it.
You are contributing to the cause. Now, as this comes together, Most important thing here is your eggs. You're gonna add one at a time. But the thing is, do not overbeat. As soon as that one disappears, you drop another one in. Oh, it's gone again, drop another one in, okay?
Drop it like it's hot.
Because as it's incorporating together, last one going in, you wanna make sure everything, it gets mixed in nicely, but you don't want to over mix the batter. Why? Because if you do, you're gonna end up once again with the crack in the cheesecake, and that's not what we're looking for. Keep the batter nice and simple. That was perfect. Everything has come together nicely.
Beautiful.
There we go.
You gotta grab that spatula though, because I use this as my personal spoon. Oh my gosh. You were very
All right, so now we pour our batter into our cheesecake pan, our springform pan, and on top of our cookie crust that has cooled. So now everything goes in together. Woo, this is some good looking batter. You tasted it already, Daphne?
I did. It's
all right.
Delightful.
Is it to your standards?
Very,
You like it?
very much up to standard.
There you go.
I'm gonna just get all, you can't let this go.
Okay, well
waste.
that was for licking. What were you doing? There was a method to my madness. That was for licking, and that is for staying in the cheesecake itself. So give it a little smooth around.
Do we like to bang or not to bang?
I mean, you can bang, but you
air
don't
out of
want
it
to
a little
bang
bit.
too much because you don't want that crust is up against the sides. You don't want it to start to cave in anywhere or develop cracks within the crust.
Such a good
That's
point.
So yes, so now we put it in a roasting pan. Daphne's adding some hot water, and we're creating a nice little water bath. What this does, as the water heats up inside the oven, that water creates steam inside of the oven. So as the eggs and everything starts to leaven or rise, it rises evenly and it won't crack. That is gonna bake for 50 minutes at 325 degrees, okay? Then, after it bakes, go in there. After that bakes, you're gonna turn off the oven and keep it in there for an hour, okay? All right, and see, this is what comes out, but it's still more of a process. This is what I should have said in the beginning. You're gonna make this a day in advance probably when you're not hungry because it's gotta go through the process of things. You bake it, let it sit in the oven while the oven's off. Then you sit it on the counter and let it come to room temperature. Then you will refrigerate it. I like to refrigerate it overnight, and this is the beauty that you come out with.
Can we just get, before I load it up with whipped cream and all the good things.
So beautiful.
This beautiful glossy top, it's so gorgeous.
And
This is really, this is an amazing amount of information.
All right, so then you
Can I
can,
do this?
yes, by all means, you load it up with whipped cream, and you just heavy cream, a little bit of powdered sugar if you like, not too much because you don't want it to be too sweet. I feel like a lot of people put too much sugar in the whipped cream, and then it just it's too much sweetness with the cheesecake slice.
And then?
Oh, of course.
And then just a
You
scattering?
you put the cookies right back on top. So you let people know as soon as they walk in, they know what they're walking into and what type of cheesecake this is. So yes, there you go.
Oh, that's the move.
I know. Wow, Jamaica, that is a stunningly beautiful cheesecake. My gosh.
Okay, so now we gotta taste this.
Slice it up.
Taste it, taste it, taste it. Give me a nice slice.
For the hostess with the mostess.
Thank you
Wow.
very much.
The savoriness from that cream cheese, just sweet enough with the little bit of, not little bit,
not too
lots of
sweet.
chocolate. And you're, oh, it's so good. Creamy, silky.
I don't eat enough cheesecake. This is a
Clearly.
big revelation.
Welcome to my world. I am cheesecake at least every other week. Yeah, don't tell my trainer that. But no, you're right. By doing the variation of chocolate, you get that dark and then that it's not too sweet, and then it's that cocoa powder gives it that rich cocoa, that rich chocolate flavor. So yes, we did it again.
And the little bit of salt in the chocolate cookie crust.
Got it.
If you don't go to gooddishtv.com right now and get this recipe and print it out and make this either tonight or this weekend.
Don't talk to me anymore. You're not my friend if you don't do it tonight.
Don't talk to her.
Don't talk to me.
Don't cry me a river. You are missing out on one of the most spectacular desserts we've ever made on this show. This is so delicious. All right, coming up, she is the grandma that the internet has completely fallen in love with, and she's here to share her baking secrets, including how to make French toast overnight casserole. It's Grandma Babs. Don't go away.
Right.
Like something you saw on the show today? We're dishing all the details on the good list. All the recipes, important tips, and tricks, all in one place. So stay tuned until the end of the show when we'll share the good list QR code. You can scan to send it all right to your phone.
With 1.6 million followers on TikTok and over 600,000 fans on Instagram, this grandmother of 8 has earned the title of the internet's favorite grandma.
Your mom ever tell you the best hostess gifts are the ones that they can enjoy the next morning? After a night of entertaining, the last thing you want to think about is what you're going to make for breakfast. This is going to be a hit. Blueberry coffee cake.
Ooh, delicious. That's Barbara Costello, otherwise known as Grandma Babs. And at 73 years young, she just released her first cookbook, Celebrate with Babs. She's here today to reveal her baking secrets. Please welcome Grandma Babs.
Oh,
yay!
It's Babs.
It's Babs.
Hi, Babs.
Hello.
We're so excited about this.
So good to be here.
We're so happy to have you here for our big baking show. And you are an absolute internet sensation. You are the
my goodness.
the internet's favorite grandma. How did you
goodness.
jump into TikTok? How did you familiarize yourself with it? How did you get started on that platform?
So basically, I was not on any social media whatsoever. But I was during the pandemic, early stages of the pandemic. My daughter had my 2 little grandbabies here, and she said, "Mom, I think that you should try TikTok." And of course, I said no. And because my granddaughters, I know they dance on TikTok, and I thought that's fine, but not for me. She said, no, you're going to cook. You're going to do some cooking. So I said, okay. So I did my grandmother's very simple chicken and potatoes, 1-sheet meal. And that was so well received. We had so many comments on that. People were home, they were kind of stuck, and here's this kind older lady who they really felt connected to, and that really touched my heart. So that's kind of how we got started. So it's a whole new world for old grandma.
Very inspiring.
I would say for very young and very able grandma. This book is beautiful. You have accomplished a lot in 2 years. I mean, that is unbelievable. All of this. This book, Celebrate with Babs, it's beautiful. It has so many great recipes in it, so many great stories. It's all about creating traditions. So we'd love to hear a little bit about the traditions in your family. I know you talk a lot about them in the book. You have beautiful photographs of all the traditions in the book with your family over the years and your parents and their 22 grandchildren. So what are some of your favorite traditions that you are passing on?
Well, you know what? There's a whole chapter in Celebrate with Babs on birthdays. And we always made a really big deal about birthdays. So when my kids' birthdays arrived, even though it might have been on a school day, they always got breakfast in bed. And it was the pancakes, the oversized pancakes, and always corresponding to the year they were celebrating with candles. So this was kind of like a tradition in our family. And there's a whole chapter too on birthday cakes, on making a smash cake for your 1-year-old. There's a lot of traditions that go back to our birthdays.
Oh, wow. I love it. I love it all. Now tell us what you're showing us today, because this is going to be really good for brunch.
Okay, so this is from the Mother's Day brunch chapter, all right? And this is an overnight French toast casserole. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna walk you over to the stove, okay? We're gonna start there. And so anyhow, in this little saucepan, I have melted butter, brown sugar, and now here's another little hack. You could spray your measuring spoon if you're going to measure honey, if you're going to measure maple syrup, anything that's sticky, right? So I need 2 tablespoons of maple syrup in this. And when you do that, it comes right out. You don't have to struggle with getting all that messy, sticky things that are adhering to your spoon. And everything just pours out. So this is actually the first layer of our French toast casserole. So we're going to take this butter sugar mixture, and I'm going to pour it right on this prepared casserole. And this is like the first layer of this yummy goodness. And I'm going to spread that around on this 9x13 pan. And there we go. So that's the first layer, okay? Now, next we've got 5 eggs, room temperature. And we're just going to pop those in. Oh, by the way, here's another little trick. I always tell my followers that you should try to have all your ingredients measured out and ready to go before you begin your cooking or your baking. So we call that mise en place. Everything in its place. So everything that I need for this egg custard is right on this tray. And usually I also put my recipe on in this little card right here. There's the recipe for my overnight French toast casserole. And you know that it usually is stored in my little wooden recipe box. That kind of put me on the map. But because a lot of people don't use recipe boxes anymore, or like recipe cards, because, you know, it's a whole new world. But this is way before the internet. And when I was very young and newly married and all that, when you went to somebody's house and tasted something that you loved, you exchanged recipes. You asked for the recipe, and it was always on a recipe card. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to whip the 5 eggs with my whisk. And let her rip. And then I'm going to add some vanilla, which
Can I ask
puts it over the top.
Babs, while you're cooking, just as you described, please continue with your custard, but as you described the recipe card exchange and just some, a feature of why I think people have fallen so head over heels in love with you is there is that comfort, that solidity, that tradition, the nostalgia, all these things that you bring to your cooking. If there was one thing else from like your childhood or the way you grew up learning to love to cook and be in the kitchen, what that you could bring back or that you wish people would, revive again, what would it be?
Well, my mom was a great cook. So was my grandmother. And we were supposed to be in the kitchen helping. That was kind of like, just a part of the deal. And I think kids helping in the kitchen, whether it's being a sous chef or maybe it's cleanup, right? I think it's time. It brings families together. Because as my grandmother would say, everyone's going to eat. You got to work if you're going to eat.
I like
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was from my grandmother.
So feeling that. I love that. Catch us up, though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So you added vanilla extract, eggs, and milk into that batter. Anything else that we missed?
Okay, so I actually added heavy cream, but you can use milk. You could use half and half. You can use heavy cream. You can use a combination. But it's 2 cups of a milk product. And I like the heavy cream myself because this is a special French toast.
Beautiful.
And it's also some cinnamon, some nutmeg, and the vanilla. And I whipped all that with the 5 eggs. And now I'm going to pour it over this French bread that I've cubed. And this is kind of day old, actually. I bought this yesterday. But again, you could use Italian bread. You could use challah bread. It's whatever you want, but I like to cube it. And then I'm going to take my spatula and I'm just going to soak this for a minute or so and get all those bread cubes just saturated in this wonderful egg custard. So and then once all the bread cubes are covered, I'm going to pour this entire mixture over that brown sugar butter layer. And that's why you don't need any syrup for this overnight French toast casserole. It's ready to serve when you get it out of the oven after you let it sit for a few minutes. So I'm going to just pour this in our casserole, and then I'm going to spread the bread out a bit, and then I'm going to cover this. And this is going to go into the refrige overnight.
All right, we're gonna let you finish up just laying it into the pan there. That gets covered, refrigerated overnight so the toast soaks up that delicious custard. Coming up, Babs is gonna finish off her delicious looking French toast overnight casserole, and she's revealing her #1 baking secret.
Did your mom ever tell you, when your recipe says you have to sip something, whisk it? Same thing, and a lot easier.
That was another great baking secret from the internet's favorite grandma, who is also joining us from her very own kitchen. I love it. It's so like warm and cozy. I'm so happy to be in the kitchen with you, Babs.
I'm happy you're here.
And you were just about to finish up your gorgeous French toast overnight casserole. You said you have one already done right there in front of you. Please show us up how to finish it off.
Okay, so you could sprinkle with just some powdered sugar to just kind of set it off.
So
and
first
if you like,
you put it in the oven though first. You brought it to room temperature.
Oh yeah, I did.
And then it went in the oven. You baked it, right? It's baked.
I did. So the next morning, after you let it soak overnight, remove the cover, bake it in a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes.
Perfect.
And until the egg is kind of set. And then you could sprinkle, I have clean hands here, but I want to use a fork. But you can sprinkle with some fresh strawberries or serve them on the side or whatever you like. It is very colorful with the strawberries. And then just cut a piece.
Oh, yeah. This part we understand.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Time to sample now, right?
Beautiful.
So, and it just comes right out. And the easiest way that you'll ever make French toast. And there you go. Add a little strawberries on here. And then again, as I said, that wonderful brown sugar butter base just is enough. You don't need any other toppings. That's for sure. So, I don't know. Should I take it?
Yeah, give a taste for all of us. That
we need it to
feel
pay
badly.
off.
You're not. I want to share this.
No, we are enjoying you watching you make it and eat it. And now, okay, so swallow that bite because I got a question for you. Now, you're so great in the kitchen, especially with your baking. What is your #1 baking secret?
Well, I have learned that in my, over the years, if you're going to bake, you need a kitchen scale. The kitchen scale is going to take all the guesswork out of baking, and I like to measure in grams. As a matter of fact, all the recipes in Celebrate with Babs, they have also the gram measurements as well. So if you want it to be exact, I would say at least weigh your dry ingredients for sure.
That's a great. The scale is a great idea. And I got one more quick question because I know you got your hands full, but we are loving you through the screen. Would you mind adopting 3 lovely ladies? We'll clean up after ourselves and we can just be your resident
I'll
grit.
do chores.
Yes, we will work for our food.
I'm a taste tester.
I'm loving you. Just
and I sweep like a fiend, I'm good.
Coming over. Drop the papers. You're adopting me. I'm coming over.
I want to say welcome to the family.
Oh,
now go get an apron on and start working.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, you're all going to eat, so you're all going to chip in. That's a policy I think we're all taking home with us. And definitely was how I grew up, and I totally subscribe. Babs, you are as beautiful and wonderful this version as you are on all your social media channels. And huge congratulations on your beautiful new book, which we are all mooning over. You can find this recipe and more in Babs' book, Celebrate with Babs. It's available now. And coming up, we're heading to the test kitchen to see if a viral butter hack makes the perfect pound cake. Don't go away. Bye, Babs. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The Good Dish Test Kitchen, where we get a little nerdy testing recipes so you don't have to. Today, to pipe or not to pipe, that is the question. We're debating a TikTok trend on how to give you the very best pound cake using a butter piping technique.
Have you ever wondered how to get the most perfect and beautiful looking pound cake? Well, I have been seeing this hack everywhere on TikTok, and the minute I saw it, I knew I just had to try it because it looked too good to be true. These pound cakes were just perfection with that perfect split top. So here's the hack. Once you have your batter already put into your pan, you want to pipe down the center of the pound cake with just some softened butter. It's just in a little piping bag or a zip top bag, snip the tip, and pipe it down the center. But you guys know that here in the test kitchen, we put these viral hacks to the test, and we want to know if they really work so that we don't let you waste your time at home. So we did this experiment, and we piped our little hearts out down. Can I do that? I can actually show you what we did. I have a gorgeous lemon pound cake mix here, and you literally just want to take your softened butter and just give yourself a straight line down, or an approximate line where you want your split to be. Can I just tell you, here in the test kitchen, for the first time ever, we are revealing this viral hack did not work. I'm sorry, side-by-side comparison, completely objectively, this is the hack. And this is just a regular pound cake recipe without using that softened butter split. And I have to tell you, the one that we added that butter line down the center, first of all, it's not as beautiful. Second of all, the texture is actually not great. It's kind of mushy around that extra hydration of the butter. So please, we will not leave you hanging. Allow us to show you how to make the most perfect pound cake with that perfect, gorgeous, coffee shop split so that you can nail it every single time. Okay, here's a really beautiful and simple and fail-proof recipe for a gorgeous lemon pound cake. So I have my all-purpose flour in here that I'm just adding some baking powder to. And of course, you need a little salt with your sweet always. whisk our dry ingredients together just to aerate and integrate them all together. And then Gail has our wet ingredients over there.
I do. So I'm gonna beat together in a bowl with a hand mixer, a cup of butter and sugar, a cup and a cup until it is light and fluffy. And the key here for making a really good pound cake is to really let it fluff. You're not just gonna combine until they just come together. You're going to keep at it for 3 or 4 minutes. You want the color of the butter to change from a rich yellow to a very light yellow, and you want the consistency to get really fluffy. Then you're going to add 1 egg at a time and combine. Thank you very much for your assistance there, Daphne.
You got it.
Appreciate it. I'm adding 4 eggs, which is also a cup.
Beautiful.
And then I'm going to add a little vanilla. And I'm going to add half of that flour mixture, so just put that in for me, just half. And I'm gonna alternate, that's great, with half of a little bit of sour cream. Now I'm using sour cream, just half of it at the first drop, a little more maybe.
Yeah.
Sour cream is really good in here, okay? Sour cream, instead of other, dairy, you could use Greek yogurt, but there's a richness. It really adds to the crumb and the moisture. Thank you. You add the other half.
I've got a spatula in your
You're really
face,
helping
the
me out.
flour
No, it's
everywhere.
fantastic. This is teamwork. And then the sour cream,
I got
you're
the
going to
sour
take it. Thanks. I'm
cream.
going to switch hands so they both get equal muscles.
And I love that too incorporation, so you're not gonna have to overmix this batter.
That's
you don't want
right.
it to get tough. You want it to stay light and tender, that gorgeous, perfect pound cake texture.
And there it is. The sour cream, I said, is for that
Right,
beautiful
like our
moisture.
little
I'm gonna then stir in, and this is sort of optional, but I love it because for some reason I associate pound cake with having just like a tiny bit of a tang, of a lemony tang. Now the sour cream helps with that, but just a little bit of lemon zest that I'm gonna fold into the batter. And then I'm gonna pour it into a loaf pan that I've buttered and also lined with some parchment paper for easy lifting and removal. And that is gonna go into the oven.
Beautiful. This is gonna go into for 1 hour into a 350-degree oven until it's lightly golden. Don't worry, your nose will tell you when it's done. It will be fragrant, that wafting essence of vanilla and lemon puffing through the house. Jamaica, how does it taste?
Oh, huh? No, I've been watching everything that you're doing. And the thing with pound cake, I take it very seriously because I have to ask myself, is it worth it? Is it worth the pound that I'm probably gonna put on when I eat this slice of pound cake? And I must say with your technique, it is definitely worth it. Good job, ladies.
You know what's my also pro tip with a great pound cake in the summertime? Slice it, and if it's a day or 2 old, if you haven't finished it yet, put it on the grill.
Ooh.
Grill it a little bit, put some grilled or roasted berries on top.
Delicious.
One of my favorite desserts ever.
You pulled this out of I just want everyone to see how gorgeous. Look at this perfect crumb and crust. Also makes a really lovely gift, by the way. This is one of those cakes that you really can bring as like a beautiful hostess gift, just for people to get to give you lots of praise for what a great baker you are. And it does taste delicious.
It's so satisfying. One of my favorite things.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well done. All right.
Yep.
You can find this entire recipe on gooddishtv.com. Coming up, a delicious blackberry and plum crumble as our Good Dish Big Baking Show continues.
Nice work.
Welcome back to the Good Dish Big Baking Show, where we have been baking up all kinds of deliciousness today. All week, Daphne's been sharing her recipes from her newest book, Eat Your Heart Out, and now it's time for dessert.
Ready? I mean, I feel like we've been desserting it up all hour long, but this is gonna be one I think you're gonna love because it is one that allows you to enjoy your sweets without having to go overboard. You know, I have a chapter in Eat Your Heart Out called Sweet Nothings because I really felt like, creating a reset program to eat when you're trying to get back on track and feel strong in your skin it doesn't mean you have to completely rule out sweet things that you might crave. In fact, I argue don't fight your sweet cravings. Instead, change them up, let them work for you, and figure out ways, like I'm going to show you today, to indulge in them healthfully. So yes, we're going to take advantage of nature's candy, aka sweet summer fruit that's about to be upon us, all these gorgeous berries. I'll be using blackberries and plums today, which is one of my favorite kind of sweet tart combos. Before I dive into this recipe, take a look at this banana brulee hack. Okay, so this was something when I started tinkering around with this recipe, I was completely blown away at how much when you rub bananas with a little bit of melted coconut oil and sprinkle with just a little coconut sugar and sea salt, they taste like creme brulee. And you roast them in the oven under the broiler. It is the most shocking texture of like warm, puddingy, delicious, ripe, flavorful banana, and then this crusting coconut sugar on top. It's phenomenal. Little things like that that are so easy to make and not a lot of sugar and just something simple to have that to beat back those cravings even when you're living on the light side. Let me show you how to make this crumble. And I have to say, a fresh fruit crumble is something we make all summer long, just because you have this bounty of beautiful things available to you, and because it's juicy and flavorful and delicious. Jamaica, if you'll help me make a quick crumble topping, and you'll notice this has very little sugar and almost, obviously no refined sugar per the book, but our dear friend date syrup is making a comeback.
We love her.
We were talking about this in the break, though. Something I hate in cookbooks is when people are like, buy this special ingredient and only use it once, and this one recipe you're gonna make once a year. Like, this is something where if I'm gonna ask you to buy something you're not already getting as a regular grocery purchase, you're gonna use it all the time and really enjoy it. So Jamaica's stirring together some rolled oats and almond flour.
Put in there.
The almond flour is really great because it becomes a little bit of that like sort of beautiful binder. It really holds its form, so you get that great, almost coffee cake style crumble, which I love. Some cinnamon and some cardamom, my queen of spices.
Ooh.
I love her.
I added a little salt.
Oh, thank you. A little salt, lovely. Some vanilla extract, beautiful. Our dear friend date syrup. Thank you, madam. Just for a little bit of sweetness. I have to tell you, sometimes I leave the date syrup out entirely because I kind of love this crumble just from the warming spices of the cardamom and the cinnamon. It has a faint sweetness already as a part of it. I love that it's not a super sweet bit because I kind of want the sweetness from the berries to shine through.
Yes.
And then just a little melted coconut oil just until it forms that lovely wet sort of sandy texture. And the beautiful part here is you can actually make this hours in advance, day in advance, because I do let it sit in the fridge just so that some of those oats start to hydrate and it really forms those lovely crumbles. But just use your fork to kind of stir it together. That looks lovely. Thank you so much. I have a swap here in the fridge. You'll see just as you let it sit, how it kind of hydrates and forms those wonderful little crumbly pieces, which we love. Lovely texture, nice little bites and crisp and crunchy.
It's also really nice with coconut oil because the flavor of the coconut, I think, will complement, that light flavor really will complement the crumble. And you always think of butter in a crumble, but it's not the only thing that works that have that same effect. That's really nice.
Absolutely. I've also made it with olive oil. I've made it with like a light olive oil, just something simple like that. You just want that nice little bit to help it get golden brown and crisp. So I have blueberries in here. I have about half of what I started, blackberries.
Yeah, I tasted them.
I was about to say, I have half of what I started with because you and I have been snacking on these. So you're supposed to have 3 cups, but we have almost 2. I do add in some lovely grated ginger, which I think is such a great way to punch up the flavor in here without adding anything, crazy. And then some lemon zest, making our date work her little magic again here, a little bit of date syrup, just because it really, the sweetness of this crumble really is going to depend on how sweet your fruit is naturally. So heading deeper into the summer, you are going to be lucky and get those sun-ripened, juicy berries. For me, the most critical piece of a great crumble, though, is enough lemon juice. I gotta have some tartness with the right.
It's that brightness. It's just like, it lifts everything up. It really does.
And it
sunshine.
It makes it craveable.
It's like sunshine in there.
Pure sunshine. Oh, Gail's chopping up my plums. If you'll
I went to work. I didn't really ask about the size you wanted or anything.
That's gorgeous.
I saw plums, so I started cutting.
There's no wrong way to plum it, but I do love a beautiful wedge like you're doing because they will hold up in the oven as this roast and really keep their form. But plums have such a great juicy, I'm coming in, great juicy sweet tart aroma to them. And I just toss those in, thank you, with my blackberries and lemon juice and ginger and lemon zest. And then I have a little bit of tapioca flour here, and that's just sort of acting the way a cornstarch would. It's a Really nice sub for that, just to help those natural juices from the fruit thicken and create that beautiful jammy center.
Syrup kind of, yeah, it's creating
Right?
that little syrupy that we love when it comes, the sugars come out in that fruit.
Exactly right. A tiny pinch of salt. I don't want to go too heavy here. And then these go into my casserole dish, just like so. Jamaica has my beautiful crumbly topping that if you'll just pinch, and scatter over our fruit.
Gotcha.
Thank you so much.
Pinch, jump in with me, please.
And
this is getting me really excited for summer.
And this is kind of lovely because it has so much going on in terms of like the flavor and just the lots of little textures and things. Juicy fruit underneath, crispy, crunchy, oatmeal crumbly topping. You could add some chopped walnuts into this topping, which is lovely. Beautiful, thank you. And it's really lovely, obviously, for like a family dinner, but it's great for entertaining too. You cover it up with some foil, like so, and then I'm just tucking this into a 350-degree oven. First 25 minutes it's covered, and then you uncover it, bake another 15 minutes so that the crumble has a time to get golden and that filling is bubbling and juicy. Let's grab our swap out here. Ooh, check this out. That's what I'm talking about. You're not going to miss any of the refined sugar or gluten of a gorgeous dessert.
That looks perfect.
Right? Look at all that tender, crunchy topping.
Looks amazing on top.
Thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Okay, let me give you a nice scoop. Now, I will totally serve this with a little, even just yogurt on top is so nice, or just a little drizzle of your date syrup if you want a little extra, or just like so, because the topping is so naturally sweet on its own. And look at that juicy bit of fruit.
Yes.
That's what I like.
The fruit, it's cooked down just ever so slightly. It's not mushy, so you get a little burst right in the middle of the blackberry, and it's like coated with that lemon zest and that ginger. Yes, these blackberries are happy right now. I'm going to speak for them. They're very happy with this. So
and
delicious.
the coconut oil, I'm telling you, just a tiny hint. It's such a round flavor, and it sort of does what the warming spices do. It adds sweetness and richness without actual sugar. It's like a trick in your mind.
Absolutely. And that's honestly, sometimes you just want a way to cleanse your palate at the end of the meal, have a little sweet taste, but you don't want something that's going to make your blood sugar crazy, that's going to make you fiending for more sugar throughout the night. You just want a little fresh and juicy, sweet, naturally sweet bite. And this is going to be it. Sweet nothings from Eat Your Heart Out in our blackberry plum crumble. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we are talking all things snacks. And I have a killer idea for amping up popcorn. Stick around. We're back, and it is snack time here at The Good Dish. I feel like it should always be snack time here at the round table. And one of my all-time favorite snacks is popcorn. I love it. Plain, buttered, sweet, salty, spicy. I'll take it any which way. But I have fallen head over heels in love with this nori popcorn, guys. It is bursting with umami flavor. Can you see what I'm talking about? Look at this. Bursting with umami flavor. It has this like intense saltiness from the nori sheets that I crumble on top. And of course, that nori also brings a nutritional boost. I love when the nutritional boost brings the flavor. That to me is like the perfect thing. So what I do is I actually take these nori sheets like so. And do you guys, your kids love these?
Oh, we eat them by the case.
My kids are obsessed with these things. I cannot keep them in stock. So I have to like hoard my little box to make my popcorn. But they kind of taste like healthier chips in a way. There's a wonderful saltiness to them. And beautiful to know about nori sheets like this is they're toasted, so they actually have a wonderful little sort of toasty flavor to them too. But sea vegetables have so much iodine in them. They actually have iron in them sometimes, so they're loaded with essential minerals. They're a great source of a lot of those sort of trace minerals that we don't necessarily find in other food sources. They're great for your thyroid and metabolism. So this is a snack that is working for you. And here's what I do. I grind up these nori sheets, however many you feel like using. I make this popcorn sometimes entirely green, or sometimes I'll do it a little more loose. Yeah, exactly. Just crumble it all over. And I will grind it up nice and fine with some chili flakes if it's just for me and I like it a little spicy.
That's the
sesame seed.
That's what I thought. I was like, there's more than nori going on in here.
Oh,
you're making your own.
It's so addictive. And then this is just air pop popcorn. You can spray it with a little olive oil spray just to help it sort of adhere to the nori and the chili flakes and the sesame seeds.
Now we need a movie.
We need a movie. We need a little red wine. right? The little kick of the heat.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the saltiness, the little bit of heat, the crunch of these sesame seeds, and that delicious nori coming in makes this such a craveable snack. I make it all the time. And this is part of my philosophy with Eat Your Heart Out. Like snacking to me is one of the things, if I don't plan ahead, I totally can go off the rails. It's very easy to just dig into the bag of chips or the kids' leftover goldfish or whatever. But I don't think snacking should be off limits if it's something that, if anything, it's better to arm yourself with nutritious options so that it helps set you up for success. This is spicy.
I know it's
spicy
good.
goodness.
It is good. I have to say popcorn's my favorite snack too. I'm so glad that this is in your book. Eat Your Heart Out, people. It's fantastic. It's such a great little tip. Thank you.
Keep on snacking, ladies, but don't you go anywhere because when we come back, it's time for the good list. Come right back. Come on back.
Which is actually helping me. Welcome back to The Good Dish. Today was our fabulous big baking show, and from cheesecake to crumbles and more, it truly was a fabulous baking day with you. I love spending our day sweetening it up.
I know, it was delicious.
And then a little nori popcorn. That is totally in my teeth, and I'm loving every minute of it.
You went from sweet to hot. I was like, oh my gosh, this popcorn is spicy. Okay.
You can leave the chili flake off.
All right. So now it is time for the good list. Now that QR code on your screen, you see it? Yeah, right there. Okay, so now you're gonna open your camera. It's right there.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
So you're gonna open your camera app and hold your phone right up to it, and it'll take you right to the recipes and more from today's show. And you can also head over to gooddishtv.com to get it all, including the answer to what's for dinner tonight. Yes, you are going to eat this for dinner.
Are you serious?
Or dessert. Okay, it's dessert. Okay, all right, fine, it's dessert. We're having the double chocolate cheesecake, and I gave you all the tips. It'll no longer be crackalicious with all those cracks in it. It's going to be just delicious. No more crackalicious cheesecake, just delicious. There you go.
Okay, here's the thing. I love cheesecake. I love the two of you. Equally but differently.
Cheesecake and us?
Yes. Thank you for this cheesecake. And we will see you another time for more good food and good dish.
Bye, guys.